me certain special stuffs, and he gave me permission. So I donned my mantilla, and taking with me the old woman and a slave girl, I went to the silk mercer's, where I seated myself in the shop front of a young merchant whom the old woman recommended, saying to me, "This youth's father died when he was a boy, and left him great store of wealth. He hath by him a mighty fine stock of goods, and thou wilt find what thou seekest with him, for none in the bazaar hath better stuffs than he." Then she said to him, "Show this lady the most costly stuffs thou hast by thee." And he replied, "Hearkening and obedience." Then she whispered me, "Say a civil word to him." But I replied, "I am pledged to address no man save my lord." And as she began to sound his praise, I said sharply to her, "We want not of thy sweet speeches. Our wish is to buy of him whatsoever we need, and return home." So he brought me all I sought, and I offered him his money, but he refused to take it, saying, "Let it be a gift offered to my guest this day." Then quoth I to the old woman, "If he will not take the money, give him back his stuff." "By Allah," cried he, "not a thing will I take from thee. I sell it not for gold or for silver, but I give it all as a gift for a single kiss, a kiss more precious to me than everything the shop containeth." Asked the old woman, "What will the kiss profit thee?" And turning to me whispered, "O my daughter, thou hearest what this young fellow saith. What harm will it do thee if he gets a kiss from thee, and thou gettest what thou seekest at that price?" Replied I take refuge with Allah from such action. Knowest thou not that I am bound by an oath? But she answered, "Now wist, just let him kiss thee, and neither speak to him, nor lean over him. So shalt thou keep thine oath and thy silver, and no harm whatever shall befall thee." And she ceased not to persuade me, and importune me, and make light of the matter till evil entered into my mind, and I put my head in the poke, and declaring I would never consent, consented. So I veiled my eyes and held up the edge of my mantilla between me and the people passing, and he put his mouth to my cheek under the veil. But while kissing me, he bit me so hard a bite that it tore the flesh from my cheek, and blood flowed fast, and faintness came over me. The old woman caught me in her arms, and when I came to myself, I found the shop shut up, and her sorrowing over me, and saying, "Thank Allah, the averting, for which might have been worse." Then she said to me, "Come, take heart, and let us go home before the matter become public, and thou be dishonored. And when thou art safe inside the house, feign sickness, and lie down, and cover thyself up. And I will bring thee powders and plasters to cure this bite withal, and thy wound will be healed at the latest in 3 days." So after a while I arose, and I was in extreme distress, and terror came full upon me. But I went on little by little till I reached the house, when I pleaded illness, and lay me down. When it was night, my husband came in to this which befell me was by decree of Allah and his destiny. He answered, There is no help for it, and springing to his feet plied me with words and pressed me till I was perplexed and frightened. And I stuttered and stammered, and my speech waxed thick, and I said, This is a mere accident by decree of Allah. Then, O Commander of the Faithful, he guessed my case and said, Thou hast been false to thine oath. He at once cried out with a loud cry, whereupon a door opened, and in came 7 black slaves, whom he commanded to drag me from my bed and throw me down in the middle of the room. Furthermore, he ordered one of them to pinion my elbows and squat upon my head, and a second to sit upon my knees and secure my feet. And drawing his sword, he gave it to a third and said, Strike her, and cut her in twain, and let each one take half and cast it into the Tigris, that the fish may eat her, for such is the retribution due to those who violate their vows and are unfaithful to their love. And he redoubled in wrath, and recited these couplets. And there be one who shares with me her love. I'd strangle love, though life by love were slain, saying, O soul, death were the nobler choice, for ill is love when shared twixt partners twain. Then he repeated to the slave, Smite her. And when the slave who was sitting upon me made sure of the command, he bent down to me and said, O my mistress, repeat the profession of faith, and bethink thee if there be anything thou wouldest have done, for verily this is the last hour of thy life. O good slave, said I, wait but a little while, and get off my head that I may charge thee with my last injunctions. Then I raised my head and saw the state I was in, how I had fallen from high degree into lowest disgrace, and into death after life and such life, and how I had brought my punishment on myself by my own sin, whereupon the tears streamed from mine eyes, and I wept with exceeding weeping. But he looked on me with eyes of wrath, and began repeating, Tell her who turneth from my love to work it injury sore, and taketh her of fine new love, the old love dossing over. We cry enough, O thee, ere thou enough of us shalt cry. What passed between us doth suffice, and haply something more. When I heard this, O Commander of the Faithful, I wept and looked at him, and began repeating these couplets. To severance you doom my love, and all unmoved remain. My tears sore lids you sleepless make, and sleep while I complain. You make for friendship reign between mine eyes and insomny. Yet can my heart forget you not, nor tears can I restrain. You made me swear with many an oath, my troth to hold for aye. But when you reigned my bosom's lord, you wroth me traitor pain. I loved you like a silly child, whose wants not what is love. Then spare the learner, let her not be by the master slain. By Allah's name I pray you write, when I am dead and gone, upon my tomb this died of love, whose senses love had taken. Then haply one shall pass that way, who fire of love hath felt, and treading on a lover's heart, with ruth and woe shall melt. When I ended my verses, tears came again, but the poetry and the weeping only added fury to his fury, and he recited, 'Twas not satiety bade me leave the dearling of my soul, his verses, he again cried out to the slave, "Cut her in half and free us from her, for we have no profit of her." So the slave drew near me, O commander of the faithful, and I ceased saying verses and made sure of death, and despairing of life committed my affairs to Almighty Allah, when behold, the old woman rushed